My video for Cinco de Mayo, May the 5th, 2018, is entitled, "We Either Consent to the System or Not." Sadly, most consent. True heroes do not relinquish their natural rights. Yes, we are told we have the right to remain silent, and anything we say can and will be used against us in a so-called court of law. That means we do not have a right to speak any truth that exposes the lies upon which the entire world system is based. The actual foundation of this world is deception in regard to humanity, and virtually all of humanity has been deceived. The demonic rulers who usurped humanity's foundation and installed their alleged divine right of kings and queens have long controlled the world by force through fear. It's all a con game, folks, whether or not you choose to believe that. Yes, it is a revolting development, as Riley used to say in a sitcom called The Life of Riley. As for me, I do not consent to fraud, theft of rights, or brainwashing by tyrants. The question is, do any of us really have a choice? I thought of the revolting development comment, and I looked up the Life of Riley, and Jackie Gleason, I guess, was the first person to play that role, although it was on the radio even prior to its appearance on TV. But for most of the time that it was a sitcom and playing on national TV, it was William Bendix who played the role of Riley back in the 1950s. Anyway, we have been victims of brainwashing all of our lives. Of course, when you don't know you're being brainwashed, you don't realize you're a victim. So you can be relatively free by comparison because you're not realizing how much is being controlled by someone else. And we have long maybe thought that we were making our own choices. But it's becoming very, very clear, at least to those of us that are paying attention, and seemingly more and more people are paying attention, that there is some kind of a clandestine plan and a clandestine group that is operating behind the scenes to create a one world government, a new world order in which they alone, they being the elite establishment, are in control. We do not have rights under their system. We have privileges. That's the way they see it. They give us privileges. And as long as we do things that they want us to do, our privileges do not get revoked. As soon as we start thinking outside the box, as soon as we start challenging their system, then all of a sudden we become persona non grata. We become people without rights, and they have the right to imprison us, to kill us, to silence us any way they can, or just simply through ridicule. And I think that's a lot of what's happened with me. I mean, people say that my videos are getting a lot more views than what I realize they're getting, and something very strange happened with the recent video with Valentine. Somebody wrote and asked, "Ron, what did you delete my comments?" And no, I didn't delete the comments. And yet the comments weren't there that this person had made. There were two comments they had made, and another comment by Valentine on that video, and they weren't there. They weren't listed on the YouTube part of the on the internet. They weren't listed. Then, after I responded, no, they're not. I didn't delete them. I don't know what happened. Then they reappeared again. Okay, all of a sudden, there were three comments. All of a sudden, they reappeared. And now I haven't been at the computer for a little bit, and when I come back, the three comments are gone again. And the person who made the comments said, that's strange. They were here, then they weren't here. You know, they go back and forth. Somebody is messing with YouTube and with Facebook. And I don't know if it's an algorithm. I don't know if it's an actual human being doing it under orders from the top, or why they would challenge a video with Valentine. I mean, it's, you know, we're just trying to do the right thing. We're trying to bring truth and light to the situation in which humanity finds ourselves. We'd like to be free. We'd like to really be able to be positive. But we can't be positive in a world where there is so much negativity, and just ignore the negativity. The negativity, folks, is coming from the top down. And it has to start with the divine creator, God, or whatever you want to call that being that initially started this whole process of bringing life into existence, and especially human life, which was supposed to be a divine incarnation of life. We were supposed to be God, made in God's image, after his likeness, and male and female, but after his likeness, human, in other words. And yet our humanity is being stripped. When I go for walks in the park, the animals and creatures seem free. Even the trees, well, I don't know if you could call living in one spot your entire life freedom or not. That doesn't seem free from my perspective. But they're beautiful and they're alive, and nobody messes with them. They live and they die, and you know, they have insects that invade, and perhaps sometimes animals might eat their fruit or their leaves or something like that. I don't know, but there's a lot in regard to humanity that just seems more and more exposed and more insane. Is that because there is an awakening taking place? And I wish I could say yes, it is. I wish I could say it is. I'd like to believe that somebody somewhere is helping humanity extricate ourselves from the bondage of this control grid that we've been unfortunately enslaved in, and we are just in a position where we cannot experience the joy that many of us would like to experience. And some people might say, but Ron, I have periods of joy. Well, a lot of people have periods of joy. Some of it's drug-induced, some of it's alcohol-induced, some of it's even religion-induced. But it's still not the predominant aspect of human experience, which is sadness, which is pain, which is suffering. This has to be turned around as I see it. Yes, I don't mean that we have to be so controlled that we don't have the freedom to make wrong choices. I'm not saying that at all. But when the people that have habitually made wrong choices are allowed to rise to positions of power and authority, something is wrong with that picture. There is no longer an ability even on the part of humans to extricate ourselves from the insanity of the system itself. And I do not give my consent to what's going on in this world. And as I've said other times, if I end up facing God, I'm going to ask God why. And I mean, I hold God responsible. People say, Ron, no, it's our responsibility. Well, if I could do something, I would do something. But we are being controlled. Why is it so hard for some of you to see that? Anyway, folks, I do appreciate you taking time to listen to my rants, and I don't know what to say. Namaste. Bye.